Hi, good morning students. We are going to derive expression for the energy stored in a capacitor. Now, what is the capacitor? We have defined already. Capacitor is a device which is used to store electric charges. Also, it is a device which is used to store electrical energy or electrostatic potential energy. And what is the expression for the energy stored in the parallel plate capacitor we are going to derive today. So for that I have considered a parallel plate capacitor having two parallel plates X and Y. And plate X is connected to the positive terminal of a battery and plate Y is connected to the negative terminal of a battery. And as usual, let capital A be the area of each plate and small d be the distance between the two plates. Okay. The moment we connect a battery or a cell across the two plates of a parallel plate capacitor, what will happen? The positive potential of the battery will pull out some of the negatively charged electrons from the plate X and it will store it. It will store it on the plate Y. As a result, plate X will gain a positive charge and plate Y will gain a negative charge. And this process will go on stage by stage. After some more time, little more charges will be occupying the Y plate and positive charges equally will be occupying the X plate. Then after some time, little more negative charges, will reach the plate Y. And as a result, plate X will gain positive charges. So how long this will happen? Till the potential difference between the plates is equal to the applied potential difference of the battery. So what is the work of the battery here? What work does the cell or battery doing here is, it is transferring the charges on the plate Y and X. So work is done by the battery. And this work done by the battery while storing the charges is stored as electrostatic potential energy. Now already we have derived an expression for the potential difference in the previous context. That is, potential difference is work done per unit charge. Is it not? And this is also equal to what? dW by dQ. Where dQ is an infinitesimally small quantity of charge and dW is an infinitesimally small quantity of work done in transferring the charges dQ. So from this we can write, so from this dW is equal to V into dQ. So dW, this is equation 1. What is dW here? dW is the work done by the battery to store a charge dQ coulomb on each plate. Okay. So slowly, stage by stage, dQ coulomb of charge will be stored and finally what is the charge stored has to be Q coulomb. So initially there was no charge on each plate. Finally there is Q coulomb of charge on each plate and in between the battery is doing some work in transferring dQ coulomb of charge in every step. Therefore, the total work done, the total work done in storing, the total work done to store, to store Q coulomb of charge, that is a Q coulomb of charge. This must be equal to what? Integral of dW, that is W must be equal to integral of dW. Is it not? The total work done is integral of dW and this is equal to what? Integral of V into dQ. And initial quantity of charge was 0 and final quantity of charge was found to be Q coulomb. And the applied potential difference V is a constant. So this is equal to, that is W is equal to V into, that is the integral of dQ. So integral, what is the expression or relation between the potential difference V, the quantity of charge Q and the capacitance of a capacitor? Yes, Q is equal to CV, or V is equal to Q by C. So this can also be written as what? Q by C In place of V, I have substituted Q by C into D cube between the limits 0 to Q. So this again can be written as what? 1 by C into integral of Q into dq. Okay, between the limits 0 to Q. Because at every stage the quantity of charge only is variable. Okay, the applied potential difference V is constant and the capacitance of the capacitor C also is a constant. So we have to take it out of the integral. Therefore, the total work done, okay, W is now equal to 1 by C into the integral value of Q is what? Q square by 2. So this is equal to what? Q square by 2. Okay. So between the limits 0 to Q, I have already substituted, that is Q square by 2, because the lower limit is 0. Therefore, this work done is stored as electrostatic potential energy. So electrostatic potential energy. This work done only is stored as electrostatic potential energy, and it is denoted by the symbol capital U suffix E or epsilon. This can also be called as epsilon E or UE. So UE is equal to Q square divided by 2C. So this is the expression, one of the expressions for the electrostatic potential energy. But we know that Q is equal to what? CV. Therefore, UE also can be written in another form. The relation connecting Q, C and V I have written. So I am going to substitute for Q equal to what? CV. So what will be? Q square is equal to C square V square. So UE can be written as what? C square into V square divided by 2C. Okay. So that the square term of C and this C can be cancelled, and therefore now another expression we get is what? UE is equal to 1 by 2 into CV square. Okay, this is another expression. So most of the numerical problems which you are going to solve in MCQs now is based on half CV square. This is standard expression for the electrostatic potential energy stored within the space between the two plates. So where is this energy stored? Means this energy is stored inside the space between the two plates, okay, in the form of electric field. So once the capacitor plates are charged, means an electric field will be established, and this energy is stored inside the electric field only. So let us take that E is the electric field between the two plates. Understand? Okay. Now we will take another new definition which is called as what? That is electrostatic potential energy per unit volume. That is called as energy density. Before that, you tell me what is the expression for the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor which is filled with air. We have already derived, no? So C, what is C equal to? For air medium, it is what? Epsilon naught into A by D. And also now the electric field E is equal to V divided by D. So from this I can also write what? V is equal to E into D. You look at these expressions for capacitance. C equal to epsilon naught A by D and V equal to capital E into D. Okay. So in place of this half CV square, I am going to substitute for C equal to what? Epsilon naught A by D, and instead of potential difference V, electric field into distance. Shall I substitute? Okay, what will happen? Let us see. Therefore capital UE is now equal to 1 by 2 into, in place of C I am going to substitute epsilon naught A by D, and in place of V, that is in place of V, E, D I am going to substitute. So here V square is there. Therefore this is what? E into D the whole square. So this is equal to what? E square into D square. You look at the expression. We have substituted for C equal to epsilon naught A by D, and V square is equal to E square into D square. Now this square term and this D get cancelled. So I am rewriting this as half into, okay, epsilon naught into, here one A term is there, here one E square term is there. So epsilon naught into E square. What is remaining? Here one A term and D term. So area into distance. I have readjusted the terms. Now if capital A is the area of cross section of each plate and D is the distance of separation between the two plates. So it is just like area of cross section multiplied by the distance will give you the volume of the space between the two plates. It is equal to what? Volume of the space between the two plates where the electric field is existing. So this A into D must be equal to what? Volume. Okay. So this UE, capital UE divided by A into D, this is equal to UE divided by volume. That means we have got another expression, that is the electrostatic potential energy per unit volume we are getting. And this is now equal to what? Half into epsilon naught into E square. And this quantity UE, potential energy per unit volume, is denoted by small u suffix e, small ue. Capital UE means we have derived as what? Electrostatic potential energy stored in the capacitor. And where it is stored, that potential energy is stored in the space or volume between the two plates of the capacitor. And if you divide that electrostatic potential energy by the volume of the space within the electric field, then what you will get is U, that is small ue, that is equal to capital UE divided by volume V. Okay, volume. So this V is what? This is a volume. Okay, and this is denoted by the symbol UE, and this is now equal to what? Half into epsilon naught into E square. And this UE is only called as energy density. Okay, energy density. So have you all understood, students? So what we have derived actually is two expressions. One is what? The electrostatic potential energy. And how to define that electrostatic potential energy? It is defined as the work done by the battery in transferring the charge of Q coulomb from one plate to the other plate. So it is driving the charges. So if Q coulomb of charge will be driven from this plate X to Y, then the work done by the battery is stored as the potential energy, and that electrostatic potential energy we have derived as UE is equal to Q square by 2C, where C is the capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor. And then we have substituted Q equal to CV and got another equation, that is the electrostatic potential energy UE is also equal to what? Half CV square. And then for the parallel plate capacitor, C equal to epsilon naught A by D, and V is equal to E into D we have substituted, and the expression for the potential energy we have got. So UE is equal to half into epsilon naught E square into A into D, where A into D is equal to the volume of the space between the two plates where the electric field is existing. And hence this potential energy divided by the volume must be denoted by the symbol small ue, and that is equal to half epsilon naught into E square. And this is called as what? Energy density. Hope you have understood. Now shall we go to the next topic? We are going to study the combination of capacitors. Okay, fine. Now we are going to discuss the combination of capacitors. First one is capacitors in series. So the picture consists of three parallel plate capacitors having individual capacitances as C1, C2 and C3. They are connected in series. And the combination of these capacitors is connected across a battery of potential difference V volt. Now, when do you say three capacitors are connected in series? When the right side plate of C1 is connected to the left side plate of C2. Then the right side plate of C2 is connected to the left side plate of C3. And the left side plate of C1 is connected to the positive of the battery. The right side plate of C3 is connected to the negative of the battery. So, as soon as the positive potential is connected to the left side plate of C1, it will remove some negative charges, that is electrons, from the left side plate, As a result, Q coulomb of positive charges will be stored on the left side plate. This will induce an equal amount of negative charges on the right side plate of C1. Similarly, these negative charges on the right side plate of C1 will induce positive charges on the left side plate of C2 and so on. Okay. Now, we have earlier derived the expression for the capacitance of a capacitor. By definition, C equal to what? Q by V, or V equal to Q by C. Okay, apply this equation V equal to Q by C for each capacitor. So, for the first capacitor, V1, okay, V1 is equal to Q divided by C1. Okay. Now, in each and every plate in series combination, the same quantity of charge only will be stored. I told you because of electrostatic induction, same quantity of charge only will be induced on the opposite plate. So, Q will be the same on all the capacitors. So, V1 is equal to what? Q by C1, and V2 is equal to Q divided by C2. Okay, and V3 is equal to Q divided by C3, and this set of equations I will call it as 1. This is step 1. Okay. But what is the potential difference across each capacitor in series combination? They cannot be same. They will be different. So I have taken V1, V2 and V3 respectively are the potential difference across C1, C2 and C3. So if you add V1, V2 and V3, that must be equal to what? The net or applied potential difference. Therefore, V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Okay. I will substitute for V1, V2 and V3. So, this is now equal to Q by C1. So, this is Q by C1 plus Q by C2. And the third term is what? Q by C3. So, what is the common factor in all the terms is Q. Therefore, V is equal to Q into 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3, and this is taken to be equation 2. Now, if you replace the three capacitors by a single capacitor, then what should be the effective capacitance of the single capacitor for storing the same quantity of charge Q for the same applied potential difference V? Okay. So, I am going to replace the three capacitors by a single capacitor, and the same potential difference only is applied across the capacitor. So, this is V volt. Suppose if the single capacitor is having a capacitance Cs for the same quantity of charge Q stored between the plates of the capacitor, then such an equation relating this C, V and Q, like this equation 2 if I write, means then here V must be equal to Q into 1 divided by Cs, and this is equation number 3. Is it not? So V is equal to what? Q divided by Cs, or Q into 1 by Cs. Okay, now I am going to compare equations 2 and 3 because they have the same left hand sides. So I am going to equate the right hand sides. So comparing equations 2 and 3, the left hand sides are same, therefore the right hand sides also should be same. So left hand side is now what? 1 by Cs into Q. This must be equal to Q into 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. So cancelling the common factor Q on both sides, what is remaining? Therefore what? 1 by Cs is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. So this is the final expression. Okay, and this is what? Equation number 4. So what do we get when Cs is the effective capacitance? The reciprocal of the effective capacitance is on the left side. And what is on the right side? It is the sum of three terms, and each term is what? The reciprocal of the individual capacitances. So finally what we have to confirm is the reciprocal of the effective capacitance in series is equal to the sum of the reciprocals of the individual capacitances. Okay. Now in this case we find that for example, let us take that C1 is equal to 1 microfarad and C2 is equal to 2 microfarad and C3 is equal to 3 microfarad, for example I have taken. So how will you find now 1 by Cs? 1 by Cs is equal to what? 1 by 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3, and this is equal to LCM is 6. LCM is 6. So this is what? 6 plus 3 plus 2, and that is equal to what? 11 by 6. So 1 by Cs is equal to what? 11 by 6. Therefore what is Cs is equal to? Therefore Cs is equal to what? 6 by 11 microfarad, and this is less than 1 microfarad. What are the three values of capacitances I have taken? 1, 2 and 3 microfarad. Which is the least of the given combination? That is 1 microfarad. What is the effective capacitance we have got? Cs is equal to, it is less than 1 microfarad. So what do we infer here? When you connect several capacitors in series, then the effective capacitance is found to be less than the least of the given combination. Understood? Less than the least of the given combination. Hope you understood. Now we are going to derive by connecting the several capacitors in parallel. Before that, one more small question you answer. If 4 capacitors are connected, means how many terms should come in the right hand side? 4 terms. The fourth term is what? 1 by C4. Then you tell me, if n number of capacitors are connected in series, yes, what should be the expression is 1 by Cs is equal to what? It will contain n number of terms on the right side. That is the last term should be what? 1 by Cn. Okay, fine. We will see the next. Capacitors in parallel. Here there are 3 parallel plate capacitors having individual capacitances of C1, C2 and C3. They are connected in parallel. When do you say 3 capacitors are connected in parallel? When all the left side plates of the capacitors are joined and connected to one terminal, namely positive of the battery, and all the right side plates of the 3 capacitors are joined and connected to the negative potential of the battery. Then these 3 capacitors are said to be connected in parallel. Okay. Their individual capacitances are C1, C2 and C3. But this time, what will happen to the charges supplied by the battery? When the charges are distributed by the battery, after reaching this point, there are 3 ways or paths for the charges to flow. Therefore, what will happen? Here, the quantity of charges stored in each capacitor will not be same. They will be different, depending upon the capacities or capacitances of the capacitors. The charges stored will be different. So let Q1, Q2 and Q3 be the individual quantity of charges stored in each capacitors, namely C1, C2 and C3 respectively. But applied potential difference V will be the same in parallel combination. Already we have studied in parallel combination in the previous 10th standard itself. You must have studied. In parallel combination of these devices, the potential difference across each capacitor will be the same, namely V. So from the definition of capacitance C equal to Q by V, this implies that Q is equal to CV. Apply this expression Q equal to CV for each part of the circuit. So for the first capacitor, this Q1 must be equal to what? C1 into V. And for the second capacitor, Q2 must be equal to what? C2 into V. Similarly, for the third capacitor, Q3 must be equal to what? C3 into V. and this I call it as the first step or equation 1. So the total quantity of charge supplied by the battery must be equal to the sum of the charges Q1, Q2 and Q3. Therefore, I will write here Q must be equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3, and this is now equal to C1V plus C2V plus C3 into V, or Q is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3, and V is taken as the common factor, and this is equation 2. I have substituted for Q1, Q2 and Q3 from step 1, and I have taken the common factor as V. Now, if these three capacitors are replaced by a single capacitor, then what should be its capacitance? That only we are going to derive, is it not? Let it be Cp for parallel, Cp. So, I will redraw the circuit so that there is a single capacitor and its capacitance is taken as Cp for the same quantity of charge Q and for the same applied potential difference V. Okay, so this is V, and for this, if you write the expression for the charge Q stored in this plate, means then Q is equal to Cp into V, Cp into V, and this is equation 3. So I am going to compare equations 2 and 3. The left hand sides are same, so the right hand sides also must be same. So I am going to compare. So this is comparing equations 2 and 3. Comparing equations 2 and 3. I will write Cp into V. So Cp into V on the left side, and on the right side what I am writing is what? C1 plus C2 plus C3 into V. So the common factor V can be cancelled on both sides. V is getting cancelled. What is the remaining now? Therefore C parallel is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. Okay, this is the final expression we need, and this is equation 4. So what is the effective capacitance? What is the effective capacitance in parallel is denoted by Cp, and we find it is equal to the sum of the individual capacitances C1 plus C2 plus C3. As usual, I will take the best and simplest example. So you take, for example, C1 is equal to 1 microfarad and C2 is equal to 2 microfarad. C3 is equal to 3 microfarad, for example. Therefore, what is the Cp is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3, that is equal to what? 6 microfarad. This is greater than what? 3, 2, 1. All the three capacitors, isn't that? The three individual capacitances are 3 microfarad, 2 microfarad and 1 microfarad. But the effective capacitance is found to be what? Greater than the greatest of the combination. This idea you should keep in your mind. So when three capacitors are connected in parallel, means then we find that the effective capacitance is found to be greater than the greatest of the given combination. Okay, suppose 4 capacitors are connected, means then 4 terms should come on the right hand side. Suppose if n capacitors are connected, means what will happen? Cp is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3 up to how many terms? The last term Cn. Okay, have you understood? Okay, fine students, as a summary I will tell you now, when capacitors are connected in series, then 1 by Cs is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3 up to 1 by Cn. And it is found that the reciprocal of the effective capacitance is equal to the sum of the reciprocals of the individual capacitances. And also it is found that in series combination of the capacitors, the effective capacitance is less than the least of the given combination. Now coming to the parallel combination, finally we find that the effective capacitance in parallel combination is directly equal to the sum of the individual capacitances. As a consequence, what we have proved? Yes, the value of the effective capacitance Cp in parallel is greater than the greatest of the given individual values. Okay, fine. We will meet in the next video. Fine.